Getting ready, obviously, in order to get back out there. The bike has to be ready as well. And remember, this is the Royal Enfield Build.Train.Race program. So these competitors having to build the bikes initially, of course, with the assistance of the team of mechanics that Royal Enfield brings out for them. But then over the course of the race weekend, any issues that they have, they're also as hands-on as they possibly can be in getting those bikes back out on the racetrack. And I was just checking in with Scott Dawson, one of the mechanics for Royal Enfield, and he was telling me that Camille did probably about 30% of the work herself. They did go ahead and swap out the motor. Of course, the front end had a bunch of damage, so they had to repair and replace a lot of bits and pieces, and she was hands-on for all of that action, so it's great to see her back out today.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jamie. Just kind of corroborating there what Freddie was saying. Here's a look then at the starting grid. This is race number 3, not 4, because we didn't have one of the races earlier in the season, but it's Kira Knebel, Shea McGregor, and Miranda Kane on row 1, Camille Conrad, Kate West, and Lucy Blondell, Roger, on row number 2. Row number 3 then headed by Cassie Creer, Brianna Everett and Tati Pathe ahead of Karina Samoas and Brianna Cutler. 11 riders on the grid, and as we said yesterday, Roger, a fully international field.
Yeah, and it's just great to see that it's opened up this year for some international ladies able to come over here and might open some doors over there.
Absolutely. Well, as I said, we've got our eyes and ears on the ground. Jamie across there, she'll be bringing us all of the news as it happens, as the green flag is waved. A little issue there, just getting away a little bit slowly, is the 85 of Camille Conrad. She confused me a bit there, because yesterday, Freddie, she was all in black, and today she's got the white fairing on. So.
Yeah, because that was the replacement. It looks like maybe she didn't have it in gear.
Yeah, this, of course, just the warm-up lap, so nothing to worry about too much. Yeah,
exactly.
Obviously, a lot of people tuning in for MotoAmerica for the very first time. Freddie, just give us a very quick synopsis on the BTR. You'll probably do it a lot better than I will.
Well, I've talked about it quite a bit there, Michael, but the Build.Train.Race, it's about building the bike. As you heard earlier when Jamie was talking about that Camille had to repair, if she's involved in repairing the bikes, all the ladies work on the bike, all the riders do. And they have, it's overseen by professional mechanics. Then there's the training portion, which is the T part. That's the part that we do after the 5-day build, and we do that in March, and it's a 3-day training program that we have, and then a 4-weekend race weekend that we have, 8 races total for the season.
As I said in the introduction, this is a 4-mile road course, 6 left-handers, 8 right-handers, and Roger Hayden, you've had some success around here.
Yeah, and this is a lot of everyone's favorite with the long straightaways here. 3 of them, we don't really get that on any part of the tracks, but also it gets a little tight and technical over there in turn 11 as they head down to Canada Corner. Which part of this track, Freddie, is giving these ladies the most trouble?
Well, for sure, it's the speed, and then getting their distance and their braking zones correct, Roger, and being able then to carry the speed, because these bikes have a lot of engine compression, and so you don't have to. You have to be able to modulate the brakes, not brake too early, not brake too late, and then also picking the throttle up, having it in the right gear, being able to pick it up off the corner, because the range of the RPM on these bikes is not, they don't rev up that high. So there's a lot of engine compression, and there's a lot of setup issues and being able to carry the speed.
Yeah, absolutely. On that point, we can see the 90-degree track temperature, 34% humidity, just 1 mile an hour of wind. And I was actually having a very nice steak for dinner yesterday evening. And Miranda Kane was on the table, one of the competitors. In fact, she was on the podium yesterday, and I was talking to her about the slipstream, and she said that is something as well that she's had to get used to. She's had a year, obviously, under her belt, but we will see slipstreams in this race.
Yeah, that is a very important point, and I was talking with Lucy, one of the riders, she's from Canada, talking about that and getting used to it, and some of the new riders, of course, Brianna Cutler and Brianna Everett, both of them the same thing, and the Brazilian riders, Roger, that you were talking about, the international, the 2 riders, not much race experience. Getting used to using the slipstream is something that they don't have much experience with.
You know, one thing, Michael, that you don't realize in that slipstream is, you know, you go into turn 5, 1 lap in a draft, and you're going in 5-6 mile an hour quicker than the lap before, and you have to adjust your brake marker.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Right then, here we go. The final race of the day in what has been a truly amazing weekend here. Probably the largest, in fact, I think it has been confirmed, the largest fan attendance of a MotoAmerica Superbike event ever at Road America, and we're going to see things out now with this 5-lap race. I was going to say it's a sprint, but the track is so long here, it's going to feel like an endurance race. But the first 4 riders on the grid are the first 4 riders in the championship, not necessarily in that order, as we wait for the green flag at the back. There it is. Green flag is waved. Scott Paget with the red flag will move to screen left as we wait for our final rider to just arrive. He waits for that final athlete. There is the safety car at the back of the grid. Kira Knebel, Shea McGregor and Miranda Kane. They were on the podium yesterday. Can they do the double? Kira looking for her 3rd win of the season. Lights are on, lights are off, and the final race of the day is underway. And once again, Roger, it is another great start, converting that pole position into surely what is going to be the whole shot at turn 1 for the 25 of Kira Knebel.
Yeah, great start, and also she's going to be in the right spot going down into turn 1. Just like yesterday, she's been working, getting up to speed quick early in these races, and we'll see if she'll be able to do that today.
Yeah, one of the things yesterday she talked about, she just wanted to smooth out her transitions, and she felt like there were some areas that she could certainly improve. And if she does that, then she might get that lap record that she was working toward all weekend.
Yeah, a little mistake there out of turn 3, though. You've seen the bike moved a little bit on the exit. Not sure what happened, but it was able to kind of close that gap up. Shea was.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, you're leading 3 already with a small advantage, but as we've already been talking about, that advantage will shrink with the slipstream. We saw yesterday jump start for Camille Conrad. Certainly looks, Roger, as though everybody got off the line nice and easy. There is a nice defensive line for Shea McGregor down into turn 5. Another straw out of the seat there for Shea. Maybe I should just stop talking as they come up now through turn 5 into turn 6. Another strong start for Kira, but the chasing pack seem a lot closer, Roger, than they did yesterday.
Yeah, you could just tell that they're all pushing a little bit harder these first couple laps with the bikes moving around, and I think that's just kind of natural. We see a crash.
Wow, and that is a big crash there for one of the riders. The bike a little bit second-hand, but look at that, up on her feet straight away. And let's just wait and see who that actually was. I think, was that Kira? Was that the championship leader? We're going to wait for having this confirmed. I could be wrong, but I'm recognizing the helmet there. I think that could have been the race leader. It could have been the championship leader, Kira Knebel. And if that was Freddie, that is going to have huge ramifications on the championship.
That certainly brings Shea and Miranda much closer, and also if Camille, after yesterday losing the points that she did, and then also Shea goes down.
Wow, so we've got 2 of the leading 2 riders in the championship down. Kira Knebel, it is confirmed, is the leader. She was the first to go down. A very second-hand Royal Enfield as Shea McGregor just struggling there. These bikes are quite heavy. Miranda Kane telling me yesterday they're not the lightest of bikes, and that now leaves Miranda Kane out in front. Is she heading potentially? I know it's only lap 1. Here's a replay as we come around this first lap. A couple of the riders sitting up, and we've already lost Kira. She lost the front, that bike flipping over into the air fence, which Roger is there to do a job, and it did. And it was over the top. She lost the rear.
That's right. She lost the rear, and then it pushed the front. That's the worst kind of crash in there, Roger. That's the one you don't want to have.
And then we see this, Roger.
Right into the chicane, just kind of a crash. We see there a little bit wide, losing the front end. There's a lot of bumps getting into that chicane, and we see a lot of bikes having some front end chatter this week and just had a little too much.
Well, Miranda Kane comes out of the final corner, and I know she's been in the hunt for podiums in the past. She's never won a race in this championship, and she now, Freddie, as she comes on to lap number 2, 4 laps remaining. This is potentially going to be the longest 12 or 13 minutes of her life.
Yeah, she definitely. She's been close, and she wants it so bad. They all do. They all work so hard. You can see that Shea got the bike picked up and looks like she's okay. We hope the Kira's okay. But Miranda's got her head down and just gotta
And that is good to see.
Keep focused.
Yeah,
absolutely.
sorry to cut across you there. Kira Knebel, Roger, jumping over the fence. And, of course, the Road Racing World Action Fund providing all of our air fences around the circuit, doing what it should have done there, Roger. It's good to see.
Yeah, it's great to see. And that's why they have that air fence. And that's what's so important for the road racing world and the fans and all that raise money for that. That's why we have it. It would have been a different outcome without that air fence.
Now, one thing just to throw into the mix here, Camille Conrad yesterday was one of the riders that went down. She's currently sitting in second position with the championship leader on the floor. Camille Conrad sets the fastest first sector. She's half a second quicker than Miranda Kane. Freddie, this is kind of whatever you've lost yesterday, you've just made it up because of the mistakes from your rivals.
Absolutely, and of course it's going to bring the championship battle much closer now. now. You mentioned earlier that we didn't. This is not the third race or the fourth race of the week of the year. It's the third, because we're going to make up the one that we didn't have at the Ridge. So now with this championship and the two riders that were leading the championship first and second crashed out, it's certainly going to make it a lot more interesting going into the Ridge.
Yeah, and Roger, obviously, as a former racer at the top level, as Freddie has been, in that situation, you've got these first 3-4 races out of the way. You go to the Ridge with virtually even Stevens. It's like we're starting the championship all over again.
Yeah, with 3 races, you can really capitalize there on having a good setup that weekend. Miranda there in that second sector was able to respond and pull back out a couple tenths.
Cassie Creer, the 97, currently running in third position. This is the battle between Lucy Blondell and Kate West on the 772. Looks like Kate there just made a lovely little move into the chicane, and she now moves up into 4th place. And Freddie, for young Kate there, this is her first season in the championship, and to be a second season in the championship. My apologies.
Yes,
but you can see the step that she's made from year one. That's where I was trying to go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is her second season, and she felt better this morning. She talked about that she felt even better this morning than she did yesterday, so we're seeing that in her performance.
Another fastest sector for Camille Conrad. She goes another half a second. That gap, Roger, is toing and froing, but there's about a second between them now, and it's not going to be too long before Camille's going to get the slipstream.
They're just kind of yo-yoing. Each one has their best sector, and Camille's in a pretty good spot though, but she's able to kind of follow, and you know, it's a tough spot for Miranda to be in. She's out setting the pace.
Across the line we go then to complete what will be the first flying lap. There is the green machine of 772 Kate West. There's your race leader across the line, 2:57. We were obviously a couple of seconds faster yesterday, but at the moment Miranda doing all that she needs to do. It's not necessarily about breaking records. You just got to bring it home and get those 25 points. But I just get the feeling as the fastest lap of the race there goes to Camille Conrad. We always say what a difference a day can make. Could she potentially be on for a win here? She's not giving up.
No, and you know, the thing is, and it's true, right, Roger, is that as much as you want to be patient out there when you want to win, and they all do, and the drive and determination, I know that Camille has it just like Miranda. Miranda wants to maintain that lead, and Camille's, she's just right there. It's like the carrot, you know.
And that patience goes out you can tell yourself that before the race,
absolutely.
but as soon as the lights go out, that goes right out the window.
Absolutely.
And obviously Miranda in a position that she has never really found herself in. She's battled for the podium, she's battled for the win, but she's never been sort of the rider there with the target on the back. And you both know better than me just how difficult is that. It's not easy to lead from the front. In through turn 5 and turn 6, there is Cassie Creer having a very, very solid ride. Freddie in third position. If she could bring it home for a podium, that would be a very, very successful end to her weekend.
Absolutely. After, of course, she had the crash on Friday.
Yeah.
And so to come back from that, and she was, you know, feeling a little despondent late in the day, and was a little bit frustrated, as they all are when they make mistakes, and we talk about it, and they want to work toward, you know, okay, how can I fix that and not lose the confidence? Because in that, right, Roger, the main thing that you worry about whenever you crash, and we've all experienced it, is how we come back from it, how you come back to it from it, not lose confidence, and get the speed back as quickly as you can.
And I think the big thing is, as you talked about, knowing why they crashed, and then those are the ones when you just crash and you don't know why. That's hard to rebuild your confidence when you don't have a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
The gap then 1.2 seconds between our race leader. There she is, the 1:86 of Miranda Kane. Just being chased by Camille Conrad. And Roger, just looking at our timing screens, which we obviously have the benefit of here, I think you're absolutely right. There are different parts of the circuit which seem to be playing to the strengths of the different riders. Miranda Kane loses about half a second in Sector 1. She then gains 4.5 tenths back, so virtually even again. Sector 3, they're virtually level. It's just going to be this toing and froing, but they're running out of time. There's only 2 laps to go at the end of this one.
Yeah, she's got almost a second and a half last lap, so she's got to come, you know, make a little bit more of a gap, maybe 3 or 4 tenths this lap if she wants to be there on the white flag lap.
Across the line we go then, the 85 Camille Conrad, who had a very eventful day yesterday, but she's looking, Freddie, at the moment, she's certainly looking, I don't want to put the commentator's curse on her again, but she's certainly looking good for a podium. I guess the question is going to be whether it is going to be P1 or P2 as it stands. into turn 1. Nice riding style from Miranda Kane, isn't she? She's placed nicely on the bike. She doesn't hang off too much. She keeps the bike quite stable, from what I can see.
Miranda has certainly worked on that, and being her second year, getting used to this bike, and we've talked about this. The bike has its own characteristics, and they ride different bikes, track days, and have different models and backing them, whether they're Ninjas or there may be an R6 or even a Honda CBR. And so these bikes have particular shifting techniques that's required, and the feedback from the bike, and I'm always impressed with how well they adapt to the bike. And I've ridden it a few times, and I love it, and I love its uniqueness. And there's a rawness to it.
You talk about these bikes being unique. What is the secret then to a fast lap? Because I've watched the series for a couple of years, and as you said, it's unlike a lot of the other bikes that we have racing in MotoAmerica. So what's the key to success?
Well, one of the keys is just understanding what it needs to go quickly and not to override it. I compare it to, I used to do the Goodwood Revival, Norton Manx's, and it was the same thing, the way the shift and just the way that you can ride it. But what's interesting is, a lot of people don't know this, but the chassis on this bike comes from Harris Performance, which has its history in Grand Prix racing.
Yeah.
And so the Royal Enfield in the mid-2000s bought that company, and so this bike has an incredible, considering its lineage and the fact that it doesn't look like it, but an incredible discipline in how well it steers and turns and brakes and gets the power to the ground.
Camille's getting closer.
I was just going to throw to you there and just say, looking at our pictures, it's getting close.
Camille, coming back from that crash yesterday, her confidence every single lap is just going to grow, and she can see the wind, the laps counting down. You can just see it in her riding. She's getting a little bit more confident.
We need to keep an eye on this battle potentially, not just for the win, but it's shaping up quite nicely. You can't see it on camera just yet, but Cassie Creer is being caught by Kate West. The gap has come down from 3 seconds to 2.3, and Kate West in the middle sector, Freddie and Roger, you can see the fastest middle sector than anybody, and she's taken another 0.6 out. Kate West is coming. The camera's going to wait there. Great work by MotoAmerica camera crews. We've got the best in the business here, Freddie, and we wait for it, and this is the battle. Here we go. We've got 2 pairs of riders fighting for the podium. 4 riders. One of them, Roger, is going to be missing out here. It's going to be a shame that we can't give them all a podium.
Yeah, and somebody's going to be disappointed, but they'll learn from that.
Yes.
As going forward, that racing and doing these things, sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, Kate West, I think I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong, Freddie, but as we see the white flag, which I think was being waved, or was certainly going to be, it is being waved by Poultry Suwan, who is not riding this weekend. I could see her out of our commentary box when she waves the white flag. But believe me or not, I think Kate West has never been on a podium, so we could have some real history being made here from these riders. This is great to see.
It is great to see. They all work so hard and put so much into it to try to improve and to keep working on the bike and making it better and learning every single time they get on the bike, and that's what's inspiring.
Miranda Kane, of course, as you said, all of these riders are working on their own bikes. Miranda, of course, heavily involved with the Supersport project of CW Moto. So she's more than happy to get her hands dirty, but she's more than happy, Roger, to twist the wrist. But she's coming under real pressure now. Camille Conrad, the gap is down to 0.6 of a second. When and where is the attack coming from? And they are together. This is the race for the win, ladies and gents.
See the draft, we talked about that. I mean, Camille was able to use that really good. But Miranda got a really good exit out of turn 5.
Up into turn 6. She's controlled this race, Freddie, from the start. Whatever the outcome, she can be very proud. But I think if she does lose this one, she's going to be a little bit disappointed as they come into the carousel in a couple of corners' time. Down the hill we go.
Yeah, it looks like the Miranda this is her strongest section, is this last sector. So we'll see if Camille can get close enough coming on to the front straightaway.
The hard part for Camille right now is to push a little bit harder but not make a mistake.
Right.
I think that's what happened into turn 5 there. He got in a little bit too deep.
Yeah, and as we said yesterday, Camille obviously jumping the start. She got the penalty, then she went down. It's risk versus reward, isn't it? How much does she risk? As you said, though, we've got 3 races coming up at the next round of the championship. The gap is still about half a second. Miranda Kane doing everything right. And what is she thinking now, Roger? You've been in this situation, about to potentially win your first national race.
Well, she's going to have competition, I think, as this race starts to wind down, heading down into the Canada corner, because this draft is going to pull them together. What she's thinking about right now, she just wants to see the checkered flag.
Heading then down one of the fastest parts of this 4-mile circuit. As I said, it was built in 1955. Apart from a couple of bridges and a chicane, it's not really changed, Freddie, and it's always provided great racing on 2 and 4 wheels, and none more so than the final race of the weekend. MotoAmerica Superbikes at MotoAmerica. This is Royal Enfield Build.Train.Race, and you just get the feeling that it's not over as they come through 13 and 14 in towards the final corner. Has Miranda Kane done enough? She's been inch perfect so far. Camille Conrad from the floor to the podium. We're a little over 200 meters then from the line. Miranda Kane is tucked in. Camille is coming. Surely it's not going to be enough, but the slipstream now is starting to play an effect as they head towards the line. Miranda Kane is surely going to win her first ever Build-Train race. It's almost a photo finish. Great racing as out of the final corner looks like Cassie Creer is going to hang on. A great ride from Cape West and Roger Hayden. That was with the fastest lap on the final lap by Camille Conrad. Arguably the best race of the season. I don't have a voice to say something.
Great ride by Miranda. She did what she had to do,
Absolutely.
get out in the lead and not make any mistakes.
So Miranda Kane is a Royal Enfield Build-Train race winner for the very first time. Freddie, your thoughts?
Well, just very proud of all of them, and Miranda did exactly what she needed to do. She watched the two riders in front. You know, they had a crash, and then to come back, not let that affect you, and to still maintain the pace. And she was feeling the pressure there from Camille, and Camille did what she needed to do, you know, in the championship. And we can see here we got a photo finish.
Oh, there wasn't much between them, was there? There wasn't much between them.
No.
You know, Camille's going to be thinking that whole last lap where she could have just found 1/10. That 1/10 would have been all she needed.
Well, I think what you said, Roger, about the fact of going down into turn 5, and you know how it is when you're trying to make up time, sometimes you charge into the corner, and then it costs you a little bit more. Miranda, that's where she was doing a good job of getting the bike slowed that turn and getting off the corner, and that's what helped her win the race.
Absolutely. Chris and Sarah Lobkovich over in Seattle will be very, very happy to see Miranda get the win. What I like to see here is the camaraderie. We've talked about this so much.
That's such
we
a part
all have.
of it.
It's such a big part of this
Absolutely.
series. And Camille, whilst on one hand, as Roger said, will be a little bit disappointed, she will be so happy that Miranda's got her first win.
Well, you know, one of the things is, and sorry, Roger, I was just going to say this, that you know, they are off the racetrack so supportive and everything else, but on the racetrack, they're riders that want to win, and they have determination and drive and dreams to win a race, and Miranda was able to do it.
Royal Enfield Build-Train-Race is brought to you by
good.
Royal Enfield since 1901 and by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
So thank you for sticking with us on MotoAmerica Live Plus. For those that have been with us all weekend, your company is always very, very welcome. Myself, Roger Hayden, Jamie Howe, and Fast Freddie Spencer talking us through that. And Freddie, that was such a great race. 79 1/1000ths of a second is the official timing result. Doesn't get much closer than that.
No, it doesn't. And as Roger, as you pointed out, that Camille had the fastest lap on the last lap of the race, but it wasn't quite enough. But it's always a balance, and we talked about this during the race, of how much you want to push. You think about the championship or just this one race, and Miranda and Camille both did a great job of controlling that.
That's impressive for Camille to be able to bounce back. Turn 1 is a fact. It wasn't like she crashed in a slow corner. You're talking
Absolutely.
about turn 1. As soon as she got on the brakes there, so that's the fastest, the top speed, and able to bounce back and get a podium. She's going to be a little disappointed to be that close and not get the win, but should be pretty excited.
Absolutely. Let's have a look back then at the highlights. It was a perfect start for the championship leader and pole setter, the 25 of Kira Knebel, but Roger, her race was short-lived.
Yeah, she leads it down into turn 5. Shea McGregor in the draft. Miranda Kane also good start, trying to be a little bit more quicker today, but Kira, big crash there in turn 7. You hate to see that. She's talking about wanting to get up to speed early in these races and just went a little too quick, too soon.
Yeah, through the carousel, it was then Shea McGregor's turn to lead, and then this happened, Freddie.
Yeah, you could see there on the brakes, and Roger mentioned there's some bumps going in there. You can see the transition, the asphalt change from the old to the new, and she lost the front.
And then it was all about controlling things from the front. Miranda Kane doing a stellar job. Camille Conrad had other ideas, and this was the photo finish. 79 1/1000ths between them as they come across the line. Miranda Kane gets her first Royal Enfield BTR win. And for the championship, as we said, Roger, that is huge for Miranda Kane.
Yeah, and it's just going to tighten up the points. And not only that, it's going to give her some momentum. We talk about that a lot all throughout the whole weekend. And for these ladies, it's going to be with them, too, getting the momentum going their way.
The final results then, our top two that we've already talked about. Cassie Creer gets a great podium finish there, just fending off a late attack from Kate West, who Freddie will be very, very happy in fourth. Lucy Blondell, Roger, and Brianna Everett in the top six.
Yeah, and look at Shea McGregor there, still finishing eighth and get some points.
Yeah, Shea, who went down, looking at our timing screens, her pace was certainly good enough for the top five, Freddie, so she's going to be able to fight another day.
Yeah, absolutely. She's going to be disappointed because she's made such improvements from last year, as they all have, the returning riders, and it's just great to see. I'm just so happy. You know, for me, I'm just happy that when they're happy and they go out and do the best job, we give them the best opportunity to go out and perform.
Live pictures then from Parc Ferme. You can see down there the huge throng of fans, and as we said, it's been such a great weekend. From Friday morning when I came in at about 7:45, there were so many people coming in. The campsites have been sold out, so again, if you're thinking of coming to a MotoAmerica race, get yourself out there, because fan inclusivity, getting into the paddock, is a big, big part of our weekends. And if you want to come here next year, you're going to have to start booking, I think, now, because I think the campsite's already started taking bookings for next year. There is Camille Conrad. And as we said after yesterday, bouncing back with the podium. But I'm sure the biggest smile is going to belong to the 186, Roger. What a feeling. What is she thinking? Right, look at that. You can see what it means. Emma Better's down there as well, a former competitor. So much support and so much sort of excitement down here for Miranda.
Well, she's been thinking about this and dreaming it in her head while the whole time she's been working on the bikes and practicing, and just that's why you put all that work in. And when you are working hard, this is what you're thinking about, what this moment's going to feel like, and now she knows. Yeah,
I'm quite excited to hear what all three of these ladies are going to say. Jamie's already down there. Jamie, you've got a smile on your face. We've got a smile on our face. Camille, Cassie, and your race winner Miranda have got big smiles as well.
As soon as Miranda Kane took the helmet off, you could hear the applause from the fans here shouting out her name. You watched both of those incidents unfold right in front of you. Not only were you able to not let it affect you, put your head down, you were also able to hold off the pressure there at the end of the race. How did you do that?
You know, it's kind of just what you learn right at the start of racing is an incident happens in front of you and you got to put it aside and ride your own line and do not become part of the incident yourself. You know, I really hope that Kira and Shea are okay after the crashes. I didn't see them, or we didn't get a red flag, so fingers crossed they're all right. But I'm really thankful for this opportunity. You know, it's amazing. You know, 2 podiums this weekend, and I don't think I'll forget this weekend.
2 podiums, and for the first time in her racing career, Miranda Kane is going to get to stand on the top step of the box. Going to move over to second place, Camille Conrad. Yesterday didn't go to plan. You had a jump start penalty, went down during the race, but you put the work in overnight. You were able not only to get the bike rebuilt, but you had yourself ready to go today. Being able to overcome those challenges, what does it mean to you to be able to finish on the podium?
I couldn't have done it without my team. I had really excellent mechanics working with me. Everyone was super supportive, helping me get back on the bike. They worked all last night, and we had to swap engines this morning, so I'm just so grateful to them for all the hard work that they put in. Also, I just want to make sure that Shea and Kira are okay and send my love to them. And I'm very grateful to be up here. I want to thank my sponsors, Build.Train.Race, Royal Enfield, Parts Unlimited. Thank you guys so much.
Congratulations, Camille Conrad, our second place finisher. Going to head on over to third place, the number 97, Cassie Creer. And it has been 12 months since you've been able to stand on a Royal Enfield Build.Train.Race podium. To be able to do it again this week and all of the hard work that you've put in since then, how much more rewarding is this?
I mean, it's amazing. Honestly, my weekend didn't start out as planned either. I crashed in free practice, so to be able to come back and podium, it's a great feeling. I hope my teammates are okay. It was a little gnarly watching them go down, but just kind of had to put my head down and race this race. And, there's something special about Road America, so I'm super happy to be back on the podium here.
Congratulations. That is our top 3 in the Royal Enfield Build.Train.Race. Michael?
Royal Enfield Build.Train.Race is brought to you by Royal Enfield since 1901 and by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Go ahead and get these ladies up to the podium.
Some emotional interviews down there, and understandably so, Freddie. As we said, 12 months from being on the podium, 24 hours ago, people on the floor, Miranda Kane winning for the first time. It doesn't get much better than this, does it?
And in fact, for me, it's emotional. I mean, you know, just to watch them, because I know how hard they work, and I just love to see them all do well.
Absolutely.
And they care so much about the performance and about the program, and you can see the interaction that they have and the concern they have for their teammates.
Absolutely. And Roger, of course, have you got any tissues here? There's a little tear coming down Freddie's face. He's so emotional. He's loving it. What are your thoughts, Roger, as we get a look at the championship standings? Kira Kaneba, look how close it is, Roger.
All the way down to 6th place, really all the way down to 7th and 8th, all within 27 points. So it's going to be a big weekend the next round at the Ridge.
Absolutely. Miranda Kane then now leads the championship by 4 points. Shane McGregor only 6 down, and as we said there, only 23 points covering the top 7. I remind you, you get 25 for a win. As we said, guys, this is basically like starting the championship all over again. How's your heart rate going to be at the Ridge, Freddie?
Yeah, it's something. You know, and one thing we talked about yesterday and wanted to talk about today is just how competitive the top 4 are, and you can see that they all are improving, and the lap times that they were running, they got so close to the lap record. And of course, Kira had her crash, and we don't know what she would have run, the pace she would have run, but they all put in, you know, certainly impressive performances.
Absolutely. I've said it so many times. The champion at the end of the season is the rider that is the most consistently fast, not necessarily always the fastest. But let's have a look then at what is coming up for the remainder of 2025. Myself, Roger, Jamie, of course, on the Live Plus broadcast. And of course, we'll have Greg White and Jason Pridmore on our other side of the show as well. We come back in a few weeks' time at the Ridge Motorsports Park before our annual trip to Laguna Seca. VIR in August, Mid-Ohio, Circuit of the Americas in September. And Roger, we end the season, as always, in New Jersey. A very, very firm fan favorite.
Yeah, getting in the middle of the schedule, this is where the season always makes a little bit of a change. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward what happens.
Absolutely. Well, that is all about we have time for here from Road America, from myself, Michael Hill, from Freddie Spencer, from Jamie Howe, and from Roger Hayden. We have enjoyed your company. We will see you in Washington State in a few weeks' time. From all of us in the commentary box, from Jamie in the paddock, be safe. We'll see you in a few weeks. Ciao for now.